Welcome to the Third Win channel, and today we're doing Season 4 episodes tier list. And we've done Seasons 1, 2, and 3 already, so you can go check those out if you're interested. And on this channel, we do this series quite often, and we've already completed it for Drake and Josh, Zoey 101, and iCarly. But yes, today we're focusing on Season 4 Victorious. Here is a standard tier list, and here's how we're doing it today. We're doing favorites, iconics, great, good, okay, and could skip. And we're going from the worst episode of the season to the best, starting with could skips going all the way up to favorites and iconics. I would like you to focus more on the tiers rather than the ranking, but for those that like rankings, yes, this is also in a way a ranking. So let's start off with the worst episode of this season, which is Brain Squeezers. I think that the concept is, I guess, quite fun. Initially, I liked the concept more, but I don't like how all of Tori's friends kind of just try to get on to the show, and then they go to the show, and the show is about, I don't know, like, you earn money for hurting yourself, but then you don't actually earn the money because there's a sumo wrestler that you have to get past to get the money, and it's all a bit of a scheme. And I don't know. I think that I've seen better game shows on Nickelodeon, and this one was just not quite it. And I don't like how they treated the friend group in this episode. So that's why this is one of my two could skip episodes in this one, and it's, yes, the 13th best episode of the season, which means it's also the worst episode of the season. But let's move on to our next pick, which is Three Girls and a Moose. I don't know why I don't quite like this episode, or I guess I do know why. It's just the concept of the whole focus of the episode revolving around Moose, and then the girls kind of neglecting the boys who need help for this fundraiser, and in the end, Jade just runs off with Moose, kind of forces him to kiss her. I don't know. Some of the things, I guess I don't really love the dynamic of this whole episode being focused on some Canadian guy that comes into the school, and then Jade doing the thing at the end, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't love this episode. Maybe it's just me, but it's a good skip for me. Let's move on into the okay episodes of this season, and we start off with Cell Block. The concept of this episode is fun, and I like how well, for those who don't know, this episode is about when Psychowitz challenges the students to go a whole week without modern technology, and he doubts they can do it, but then the gang turns us into it like a girl versus boys thing, and this is where the episodes start to get good in the season. I think this episode is actually quite entertaining, and in the end, Psychowitz actually tricks the girls into caving first, because he's a boy, it's the whole boy-girl thing, he's on the boys' side, which I think is fair enough, right? The boys win, but that's kind of the whole episode, and I don't think there's much depth to it. It's kind of funny, but I don't know. It's kind of just okay, right? So that's why I put it there. Next, we have The Bad Roommate, which, if I'm being completely honest, I kind of forgot what happened in this episode, or I probably should have watched it before, but as far as I remember, the reason I didn't quite like this episode is maybe because it was just, I don't know, forgettable, as you can clearly tell. But I do like I think this is the episode where Jade finds out that she has a really bad picture of herself on the satellite images of the school, so she tries to change it, but ends up worse, from her picking up her nose, looking like it picked her nose, to Robbie accidentally falling on her, which made it look like he was kissing her. But otherwise, yeah, this episode is basically about Andre, and he's tired of living with his grandma, so he tries out living with Tori. And I kind of forget the in-betweens, but I guess I think this episode is just a little over the top. But it's an okay episode. I still enjoyed it. But yeah, okay. Maybe this is someone's favorite. I know that Andre's grandma is a big hit in the Victorious world, but for me, I see it more of as a meme than I do as an actual good character. She's just over the top for me. Next, we have 1,000 Berry Balls. A weird episode for weird name for an episode, but I think this episode is fair enough. I think it's just like the most in the middle episode of the season. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that one. I want to move on to the goods, the greats, the favorites, the iconics of the season. So first up, we got Star Spangled Tori, where Tori gets to sing the national anthem in a big event. But it all goes wrong when this huge Saint Bernard pushes, well, basically trips her over and drags her across the floor, and and then it goes viral for the wrong reasons. She's actually nervous and she actually really wanted to nail this performance, but the whole thing happens, and then she gets on this talk show, which she didn't see it coming, but they were planning to kind of ruse her with a Saint Bernard puppet or cake, I think it was. But the gang stopped that from happening. This episode also sets up the Sam and Cat series from the VICTORI-YES side, with Cat's parents no longer taking care of her, really. So it sets up for Cat to move to, I think it's, what was it? Like Venice Beach or something, where her aunt lives, or her grandma, what was it? So I like the whole Cat and attic thing, and the gang finding out, and especially Robbie being there for Cat and suggesting moving maybe out of LA. So yeah, I think this episode's important, and it's okay. I mean, it's between good and okay. I think it's more on the good side, especially since it sets up Sam and Cat. Moving on, we have Robbie Sells Rex, which is a bit of a strange episode because I would never see him doing this, because what is Robbie's talent? It's ventriloquism, right? So yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of off about this one, but $2,000 as well. I guess it's good money. So he caves for it, but you can see he regrets it. His whole personality with the doll and his talent kind of feels lost. So other than that, I think it's a very interesting conflict for the episode, and yeah, a solid episode overall. I think this is the one also where you get the Flower Bandit, I think it was, which ended up just being some stranger from a different school. So yeah, I think this episode was good. Moving on, we got VICTORI-YES, which is the last episode that ever aired on the show. And this is one where Psychowitz again challenges the students to do something, and this time it's to say yes for a whole day, maybe it was, or a week. So this episode is quite good. We have a lot of funny moments because the whole needing to say yes. I think the whole saying yes thing is a valuable lesson, but obviously you don't say yes to everything. I think it's a valuable lesson to say yes more, because you get more opportunities. And I think that it's, like, for example, the scene you see here on screen is quite funny, and it's funny how Trina dupes Tori into being in, and then Tori dupes Jade into being in it. Yeah, and we just get a slightly more entertaining episode than the cell block episode, but the premise is quite similar. Moving on, we are heading into the good stuff, the greats, the iconics, the favorites. These are the episodes that I really am kind of excited about. I have more to say about these. So the Hambone King, I can't remember what this is like, but there's definitely something, some show or a movie about some kind of, maybe it was on Nickelodeon, maybe it was like Sam's Pageants on iCarly, but it's revealed that that Tori is actually very good at hamboning, and she had a partner earlier on, and Matt Bennett gets crushed by this partner, and Tori has to come out and save him, and she becomes the hambone queen yet again. And I think that the kind of rocky training, not really rocky, but I don't know. I thought it was a really fun episode, especially one where the spotlight's kind of on Robbie, and we get to see him kind of trying to do something, a new passion of his, and Tori, most unexpectedly, is good at hamboning. I don't know. I think it's a really fun episode. A really, really great one, honestly. So next, we have one where this is maybe I don't have really great reasons to justify why I like this episode, but this is one of my favorites. You should expect it to be in favorites, but I put it in great because it's flawed in some ways. But yeah, why do I like this episode? I like the change of setting. I like that they have this idea of sneaking into a shop. Everyone has maybe thought about something like this. Oh, what if we spent the night in a store or whatever? And they do this, and a series of wild events happen. Each character gets to shine. It's kind of like the VICTORI-YES worlds. It's kind of like, what's it called? The Hot RV episode, again, where we get to see these different characters' dynamics. We get to see Kat do something kind of dumb. We get to see Jade's kind of, not witty humor, but her kind of sarcastic humor. and these burglars come, and I just think this episode's really entertaining. Honestly, we get some really mature jokes as well in this one, but yeah, great episode. I love this one. Moving on, we got the slap fight, which was, fun fact, the last episode they ever filmed, and I think that the idea and the kind of writing in this episode really shines. I love how Sinjin, this is like where Sinjin for me, I don't know, first came through as a character in terms of impact. So basically Trina, well, no, they're all shocked that Trina has 900 followers on the slap because they all have around 300, 200, whatever. And they basically have this competition to see who can get the most slap followers in something like a week, another competition. And in the end, Sinjin reveals how Trina got so many, but he also criticizes the gang, saying, "You guys are the most popular kid at schools, and you're fighting over popularity." It seemed, and then he basically puts them in their place, and they have been doing all sorts of crazy stuff, like Beck washing cars with a shirt off or something. I don't know, but it's kind of fun to see how they gain followers, but in the end, they work collaboratively to do something cool. But I really like Sinjin's performance and Sinjin's point in this episode. Like, you guys are super popular at school. What are you guys doing? Why is this valuable to you? I think that's really a great message. And yeah, I like how Sinjin shines in this episode. Moving on to our top two, I have two favorite iconic episodes in this season, and the first of the two is The Opposite Date. I've always liked this, not love triangle, but this kind of dynamic between Tori and Jade, between Tori and Beck, and between Beck and Jade. I think this episode is a great way to kind of, it's like a climax maybe, where Tori and Beck like hanging out, but they don't want it to seem like a date because that will make Jade jealous. But she finds out anyways, and they're at this vet clinic for Beck's aunt, and then people start noticing, hey, you guys a couple, you guys look really good as a couple, and I think things start kind of brewing in their head. But before they even get time to really, think about it and do anything, Jade storms in, and Beck locks eyes with Jade, and we get this kind of setup for our number one episode, which is Tori fixes Jade and Beck. Beck basically has an opportunity to date a girl, but he is reluctant to because he recently broke up with Jade. I say recently, but I don't actually know how recently it is in terms of the show's timeline. But Jade says you can date whoever you want, and Jade goes on the date, and he realizes because the girl is so agreeable to all of Beck's points, he's like, wait, I like a girl that can fight back. So what ends up happening is Beck, tells Jade how he feels after Jade sings the song called You Don't Know Me, which is probably pointed towards Beck a little bit. But in the end, they get back together, and it's all hippie happy. I don't know why I think this is the best episode. Maybe it's because it's that final culmination for the Jade, Beck, Tori triangle, and Tori helps get them back together, as the title of the episode states. So I think it's a good ending for Jade's hatred for Tori, or not hatred, but kind of not even dislike. I think it's kind of poking fun at her at this point, but or Beck's and Tori's solid relationship, like we saw in Opposite Date, and then Jade and Beck ending up together as high school sweethearts, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I don't know. It's just the character culmination development there that I like, I guess. But yeah, those are my thoughts on season 4. Sorry I didn't have more to say about 1000 Berry Balls and The Bad Roommate. While filming this video, I just kind of blanked on those episodes, but I vaguely remember them, and I know that the ranking, like where I put them, is right, because in preparation for this video, I did some watching and some reading and some forum reading and all sorts of stuff. But yes, that's it for the episode tier list for Victorious. That's season 4, the final season. We never got a season closer, and that's why people are dying for a reboot, or even just a 60-minute feature where we got a closing for the series. But this is not it for Victorious on the channel. We got Victorious seasons ranked coming up either tomorrow or maybe Friday or Saturday is my guess for that one. So stay tuned for that one. And if there's any other Victorious content when you want to see, like a character spotlight or an episode spotlight, let me know, because I think it's a good show despite what I hear a lot of the time where people say that this show is kind of eh. I think it's decent. Out of the 4 I've done so far, I would say this is probably my least favorite, but it's only marginally. I still like the show, but I've been talking for far too long. If you like this kind of sort of Nickelodeon content, you don't even have to wait for me to upload more, because I already have like 100 videos on this topic, so you can go check those out right now if you wanted to. And this has been the Third Win channel. I'd like to thank everyone who's watched this video till the end, and leave a subscribe if you like the video. Yes, I'll see you guys soon. Thursday, we have a new iCarly review coming out, episode 10, so you can look forward to that. But that's all. I'm done. See you guys soon.